William Bramley's book, Gods of Eden, tell you that they say that these aliens are running the country. And they say these grays are actually running the country and telling the government what to do. That's because they got underground caverns all up under the ground. Is where these particular grays live, because they cannot live on top of the ground based on sunlight. You see what I'm saying? Based on sunlight. So by them not living on top of the ground, they run the country, and they've cloned their selves to be on top of the ground. So it goes like this. Let's say you're coming down with skin cancer. You go into the hospital, they say, well, you got such and such time before you mutate. And it's a rapid mutation, even more now. And they say, so what we're going to do is once you get too bad and you can't live on top, we would already have your clone, and we just switch up the clone and nobody will never know you're gone. So it's as easy as that, you see. That's why the movie Judge Dredd is very important, because nobody knew that Sylvester Stallone and his brother was clones. You see what I'm saying? Very key. You go see the movie Judge Dredd. Now, they go up under the ground, and the clones live on top of the ground. Why not? Since the original white people was clones in the first place. You see what I'm saying? The key to the clones is the clones have complete memory of the other person. So therefore, it's not like the other person is ever gone. It just resumes the same life form lifestyle because it has a complete memory. You see what I'm saying? That's what the movie Blade Runner told you. It was the Yakub story being played out again. Blade Runner. Philip K. Dick, which is a real esoteric person, wrote Blade Runner, and they made the movie with Harrison Ford in 1982, told you that the last movie, the last girl, Sean Young, was a part of the new clones, and what the androids, they call them, and what? She had complete memory and started crying because she didn't know that she was a clone. So, right. Also, they say this thing, Boys of Brazil. Anybody saw this movie, Boys of Brazil? That's talking about clones. That's why it's key to come back to A.E. Powell's book. A.E. Powell's book. What's that? I think the famous page is 169. An astrocarp is a shade, which is an entity which is not in a sense a real individual at all. Nevertheless, it bears its same personal appearances and possesses his memory. So also, and its little idiosyncrasies. So also that's talking about the original white boy that possessed the black man's thing, memory. But it's also talking about this can be duplicated in clones too. You see, and say maybe therefore readily may be mistaken for him. Indeed, it's frequently in seance, they say they have to go into seance and understand it. It is not conscious of any act of interpretation. So even this is the stuff on the white boy, on the creation of the white man, is after all of the black magicians on page 169 of A.E. Powell, they say what they came up with. But they're saying that the clones that they're talking about are not conscious of an act. It supposes itself as being that individual. So it's like, it's never breaking a break, and it's not like it's a disaster that's going on. So they can clone millions of these people, and because they have memory, you see what I'm saying? They can assume the same life, and it's like back into the system. Real key. So we know that the grays is the one that's running because the ones that was up under there are the real deal clones. And so Hitler was talking about a damn master race, because they had already started mutating even with him in that time. Now this is the key. We went to Philadelphia 2 weeks ago. I was speaking in Philly, spoke in New York one night, spoke in Philly next couple of days later. And the sisters there, was a group of sisters, they got together and formed them a little group, and they just bring up speakers. Hell, they bring them up in the crib with food and all that shit, and it'd be like 20, 30 strong up in the house, right? They bring them in the damn crib, and they just be chilling with the food and stuff. You just sit up there at the table and rap. Real nice. So, the sisters all bear witness what I was saying, because they said it was a white boy downtown Philadelphia that's a dark gray man. He was one of them crackers that refused to go up under the ground. So they was bearing witness that this thing went on. They said, you know, they got this white boy that hangs downtown and he's dark gray. Then I told you that This is why when we came back to Atlanta, 2 days later we ran into this whole epidemic of proportions or stock of melatonin in Return to Eden, like an emergency stock. Because these crackers are mutating. Now the key to that is this. We finally got the time limit. If they don't take melatonin, they have about a year to live. Because see, now what's happening is the clones now have started mutating. That's why when the clone mutate, it's different than when the white people was mutating, because it mutates even rapidly, because it's cloned even more. And that's when you get the damn disease, the skin-eating disease that they had out last summer, the skin, the flesh-eating disease. That's because that clone, when it started mutating based on the race that even Devil Bless said they was going to send down here, that thing, when it started mutating rapidly. So the white boy knows, the ones who know what time it is, and they say there's 20 million white people on melatonin. You see what I'm saying? 20 million. They say, and those ones, they can stay alive about a year. But they say, it's damn if I do, damn if I don't. It's got side effects, and I might be crazy, but then again, on the other hand, this is the last stand on these clones, and so therefore, we got to take it anyway. And that's why this melatonin they're showing is real big. They've been, the last 3 months, they've been, especially after this summer, that's all they've been talking about is melatonin. You see what I'm saying? It's animal hormones. Ain't that something? The animals got melanin and even the cracker don't. But still, yeah, it's animal hormones, but on the other hand, we do know that in actuality, it's, they have to have it. But even that, by it not being produced by the body, they live about a year. Now, look at this. Because what it is I went up to Indiana, and this brother, his whole psychic is family. His whole family is psychic, excuse me. And I told him, I said, brother, you have the ability too. So he went and got him a pendulum, and the pendulum, because he's psychic already, the pendulum works even great. It works even, he can phrase those questions. He can get anything he wants right off the pendulum. So now, although I was getting channels with the missus also, who was hooked up to a certain degree when we went on the mounds, I went there and all, and we found out a clone list. And this clone list, I want to show you this clone list and show you some people that's on this clone list. First of all, we know that the white boys were starting wars based on clones. So we know that even though you got Manuel Noriega, the real one, they would go into a place, tell them, look, okay, we can put you in the hiding, or we can put you underground, and we'll just clone the actual clone, and we can program the clone to do anything we want it to do, and so the clone will start the wars because they can be economically feasible. You see what I'm saying? Also for population control. So Manuel Noriega, he's a clone. Gaddafi is a clone. Saddam Hussein is a clone. Now, not saying that these people are not still living. Some of them are still living. But on the other hand, the ones just doing all the stuff that you keep seeing, that every time they want to start a war, they tell them, you know, go on and do this. They can operate a war based on the clones. And so Saddam Hussein is a clone, you see. So now, they got this ultimate clone, and they went ahead and killed him. But they got this ultimate clone, who is Colin Powell. So now they're taking Colin Powell and they're going to run him as the new Messiah. Because certainly they're not talking about presidency. Because first of all, there ain't going to be no new president. But they are talking about a new Messiah. Because more people are going crazy over Colin Powell, it's mostly white people. Why all of a sudden, black people don't give a fuck about no Colin Powell. Or goddamn nigga in the army. It's a big deal. But it's him. That's because he's a straight up clone, you see. Hold that thought right there. Let me go into the history of this. I want to get it all the way done. Hold that thought about the Million Man March and Exodus. I'm getting ready to come back to it, okay? Let's go into the history of this. We do know now that if the white boy can clone, and the white boy has cloned, he's now started cloning black people, they can clone the surface melanin from the DNA blood. We also know if they can clone the surface melanin, we also know that now they don't have to kill no damn black leaders, because they can get the black leaders to act on their side. And the one way they can do that is by cloning black leaders. You see what I'm saying? By cloning black leaders. You see, you got 15 minutes? Okay, now, this is the key. In 1991, Minister Louis Farrakhan comes down with prostate cancer. He goes to, what's his name's farm? What's the name of the guy's farm? Dr. God's farm, the so-called Get Cured. And at that particular time, the clone gets switched because the government came to him and told him, I know this might sound crazy, but then again, we can check the one from the 80s and we can check the one from now. The government tells him that, look, we know that you're a big bad black man and you say you will die for Allah. Okay, cool. But what about if I put the pipe to your wife's head? Oh, then that's another story. See, it's one thing to say, I'm ready to die. You can make that up in your mind one day. Hey, I'm ready to die. Because you come to that realization. But what about if they put the pipe to your mama head? Or your daughter head? Then you start singing another tune. And they give you the ultimatum. Okay, look. We're going to take you and you're going to go into hiding. And we're going to make this clone. Therefore, they don't have to kill black leaders anymore. Or, if they do kill black leaders, you'll never know about it. You see what I'm saying? You'll never know about it. Now, let's go on. So he decides to go underground. And he made the switch when they came up with the colon cancer and they say he's going to get cured. And the other one comes back and he does not have cancer. That's because that one never had cancer anyway, and they made the switch. And the one before, go check the tapes, he has wavy hair. Now I know I say, now man, I got to put this on the tape. I got to preface what I say. I say, man, this information is so miraculous. I said to a nigga, you have gone and started treading waters, even though you believe it. There might be 2 or 3 people in my group that I correspond with, I believe it. I said, but you're treading mighty big waters to think that black people are going to believe that the Minister Louis Farrakhan is a damn clone. But then again, on the other hand, you must understand how much advanced the doggone white man is. So they make the switch. He comes back out and starts fiddling and all of this kind of shit. What is an omen? An omen is something like a warning. So they give you a show called Omen. It comes on the 2nd week of August on NBC, one Wednesday night, where they show these entities jumping in and out of people, and these people doing what this entity says do. That's talking about clones. They're just doing it on another form. And the entity jumps out of, jumps into this person. This person goes into the lab and he gets the Ebola virus, and he goes out to this parade and he's getting ready to drop it in the parade. It's an Irish parade, but it's an Irish parade, ethnic parade in the United States, because the Irish is known as the black people of Europe. So therefore, it's an omen to tell you that the Million Man March is going to be dropped with a chemical. Now, we thought it was first going to be Ebola, but we found out that the white boy, he showed the Ebola on the TV to warn his people on what the fuck's going down. They put it on TV how they're going to kill black people, because they set up the march. But what happened was they found out if the Ebola goes airborne, they might run the risk of killing white people, because black people interact with white people all day. So it's going to be one of the ethnic type of diseases, like a melanin type disease. But they got 1 million people registered, so whoever goes in there, if the silent chemical is dropped, they can track you back to where you go, because Farrakhan done registered you. Because he the clone, leading people to their death. So they go to another brother, because this other brother telling people on the video that the government trying to kill him. I said, well, I got to try to go to this brother, try to get to him, to tell him he need to get down with the spiritual thing, and tell him what to do. Stay away from them cracker colleges. But they shoot up his car and take the brother out. And he comes back from his car getting from April, when he was last here, and his car gets shot up in the summer. He comes back as a clone, Morehouse Wednesday night, telling people to come to the damn march. Steve Coakley. He down with the fucking march. This shit is real. I'm telling you what's going down. Hell yeah. Let's go into this thing. He gonna try to get in the audience and bust me out in front of all the damn people by telling you got a damn list of Farrakhan being on the trilateral. You need to produce the list. We want to see that list. And I'm looking out saying, I know this ain't the same nigga that talked to me in May telling me this. First of all, I'm beyond the thing because I got some shit. For me, so if the crackers up the East Coast since the Illuminati and them got my tapes, they received all my tapes, and them tapes is in Washington, D.C. or wherever the fuck the Illuminati is. They received my tapes last year. They got all my shit. They watch them. I'm telling you what I know. And if them crackers couldn't take the brother out, I ain't worried about no motherfucking niggas talking that yang shit, no fucking Nation of Islam. Fuck them. I'll tell them today, fuck y'all. Fuck you. You think whatever, this is what time it is. You see what I'm saying? So I ain't worried about that shit because I done went up, so he ain't busting me out because I done gone up the East Coast telling people about Farrakhan. I done been everywhere. Dawood called for the death of Farrakhan in '93, and I ain't did nothing to that nigga, didn't even jump. And the Muslims watching tape every day. You see what I'm saying? So that ain't the move, but I'm saying, what about if I was a helpless nigga? That would be kind of bad for you to holler out this stuff. Now, let's go into this. One brother called me and said, well, brother, you need to find out if this certain brother is a clone. Because he heavy on this march. I said, now that don't sound like the same Steve Coakley. It's talking about calling the people the civil rights movement, calling the civil rights all-stars in '94, and now he going to be down with the civil rights all-stars in a damn march? That don't sound right to me. Why is everybody repeating Martin Luther King? That just don't sound right to me. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Now I know he gonna say this stuff to me, and I know something wrong. I said, now I know this ain't the same damn man that's telling me. I went to New York and I heard some brother say that you said that Farrakhan was on the trilateral commission. You got a list. I said, that ain't you. I know that. I got you. You busted. I know that ain't you. I said, I got you. This ain't the same man that 3 months ago you called me up and we have a conversation for about an hour. And you the one that give me the fucking rundown on Farrakhan. I said, and then you gonna quote something wrong. I never said about the list. These are my words. I said, I got a friend that works out at Hartsfield International Airport in U.S. Customs. One of my homeboys I grew up with. He says they got a Mormon to tell him that we keep secrets in Salt Lake City, Utah on all people in the United States like the damn Jews was doing that got busted for it. You know, Renee Bripp and the Anti-Defamation League, they got busted. He said, we got one more comprehensive than them because we own a whole fucking state. You see what I'm saying? Salt Lake City. But he said, and we got a list that's got Farrakhan on the Trilateral Commission's list. That's what the white boy, he said, don't believe the white boy. Why would he have to lie? Even though they do lie, but hell, he showed up. It made sense. But that's all I had to go on, and I did that. Who supplied the other information was Steve Coakley. Well, brother, I don't say, and this is it, I don't mention about the Minister Farrakhan because I know them niggas will start tripping. But these are his words. Because see, he knows all these people's names that run all this shit. You know, he brought some, we know all the names. Who run this and who run that? He said, so I done checked the money, the grant money that's coming for the security agency and money that's coming to build the buildings, and the same niggas that I done said, the same niggas, the same crackers that's in this Trilateral Commission is on them checks. And he the one that gave me the lowdown. Now this clone coming back saying, I heard in New York last week, wait a minute, last week, nigga, we had a whole fucking damn conversation for an hour in May, and you gave me the rundown. You gave me the rundown. All of a sudden, he comes and tells people, never sign your name up on no list and take no survey of nobody. Because you be putting the names of the list down for the government and taking a survey for the government. Right? For the government. All right. Then he's going to come there, and all of a doggone sudden, he's starting a new party, And he wants people to sign up for this shit. After a month coming last year telling people they don't need to sign up for nothing. Right? Okay, let's go on. Now, how in the hell you gonna say you in favor of a march when you start off your lecture saying that Ben Chavis met with FEMA to discuss the damn march? FEMA is the Federal Emergency Management Act that puts in the King Alfred plan. Now, wait a minute, this don't make no sense. You mean to tell me that you're going to tell me that the head coordinator of the Million Man March met with FEMA, which bears witness that the government set up the march in the first place, because the head coordinator is Ben Chavis, and you mean to tell me that you're going to be down with sending these people to the damn march? That's contradictory. You see? That's contradictory. Then tell them, y'all are going to the march. Raise your hands. How many people going to the march? Well, you know how it is. See, one thing about college era, it's a lot of egos going because they tell the students they're the future black leaders. Everybody want to be politically correct. You see what I'm saying? So they're going to go out there. If you ever want to get somebody to protest, you go down to the college students. They'll do it because, you know, it's an ego trip. You know, their leadership skills. Just, you know, get the head right. So all of them going to raise their hand. You see? Because they don't know no concept of real revolution. And the whole time he's talking about revolution, pumping them up. Y'all going to the march. Wait a minute, nigga, you haven't given one indication on why people should go to a march. And I'm starting this new group up, and I want you to sign up, and I want you to give me any information you can get on the future. We want to know your ideas. And I've already started a group in D.C., and we are compiling papers. What's that?
I was noticing that people were putting photos in the paper and they stopped.
Yeah, he was with it. He was signing people up then too. He was signing people up too. Okay, for this particular stuff. I said, no, wait a minute, this don't sound like the same one. Oh, and I'm going to be giving tours. I said, wait a minute, first of all, the Steve Coakley that see, first of all, look, I know Steve Coakley because it was Steve Coakley that started me out. When I came and opened up for Steve Coakley, and after that, once I opened up, everybody wanted to hear me speak. So he was one of the first. I said, wait a minute, that ain't the same one I know that's an introvert as far as he's a loner. He don't do no field trips with people. He ain't never been a part of the group. You see what I'm saying?
And he was just free to give out his phone number.
His phone number and his address. Here's my phone number. Here's my address. I said, wait a minute, this ain't the same damn man here. That's right. Here's my phone. I said, wait a minute, what's going on? But see, we went there this time looking for the clone. And then he gonna bust me out. I said, no, that ain't the same man, because I got conversation with this man. But I had already known that his car got shot up this summer. But what had thrown people off is they saw this clone walking around, and they were saying, well, he must have didn't get killed. Oh, we got killed all right. You see, it's just that they DNA clone. Okay. So he want to sign people up and all this type of stuff. Now, this is what the key is. So now, I give one of the brothers who had him come, and I give the brother a paper on some clones. I said, now, I need this paper for the clones to come back, because I'm going to talk about this. Some paper I got from D.C., some information on some clones, some government stuff. He comes and tells me that the brother that opened up, the one that was sounding like Farrakhan in the blue suit, say, this nigga, he don't go to no school. He don't even have a job. His mom and daddy ain't rich. They don't know nothing about this guy, but he goes to city to city. So we get this, he's not a clone, but he's an agent. This guy goes in the papers that I gave the brother about the clone, I gave him a lot of papers on the New World Order concentration camps. He don't get them, he take the one about the clone out and give the shit to Steve Coakley, and they haul ass with the papers. He called me up this morning saying, man, Steve Coakley got your papers on the clone. You want me to Federal Express? I'll call him back. I said, no, let him have the papers. That ain't nothing. I can get them back from Detroit. The brother who sent them to me, I can get them back. You see. But that just don't seem like Steve Coakley to me. A man that's talk about the government and know all this about the government and know all this about Illuminati, know all this about concentration camps, know all this about the government and germ warfare. And all of a sudden, he's going to be down with a march, and not only be down with the march, if that's his view, but we're going to become a part of it. And we're going to have trips. And we're going to put a banner stuff talking about the Brotherhood Black back, and we're going to have people out there with the hoods on. I said, what the hell going on? But when he told me this stuff about about, I heard you had a list because I got it from New York, and I'm saying, nigga, we had a whole conversation about this list, and you the one that verified, because you the one that gave me the fucking information, the detailed information. All I told you was a Mormon said there was a list. And he went into detailed information on how Farrakhan is in the trilateral. And all of a sudden, he gonna come back, this new man, like he don't know shit about it. I said, you straight up clone, but we knew that. Now, I want to show you this. How in the hell is Steve Coakley gonna come from the students, name all the Boule members, and this is the key, and we gotta just use our brains. 2 days later, the anti-defamation league comes to Morehouse and put pressure on Morehouse, and they cut off all the money for the SGA so they won't bring no more speakers for the rest of the year. Now listen to this now. You gotta just think for a minute. And the anti-defamation league and the Jews is the one that run Morehouse, so they're the one that got all the damn money. Right? Now, not only does he come back, because you can just say, well, they can't stop the students from having who they have it. But it's one thing for him to come that night. But you see, he spoke the next day at 12 o'clock in the assembly. And the assembly is not put on by the students. That's put on by the fucking damn school. That's my ride and my homeboy from way back. Hey, I'm going to put him on the spot. We go way back and stuff. We had a place called the Honeycomb Hideout. And when we was in college, they gave us a damn shack called the Honeycomb Hideout. We was the Honeycomb boys. And we tell them, come to the Honeycomb Hideout. No hard heads allowed. And we had a thing, look, they come to the Honeycomb Hideout, take all the chairs and throw them out the damn windows. So we take all the chairs out the house and throw them in the window, so the sisters got to sit on the damn bed. But anyway, that's a long time ago. Now, where was I? So, but the assembly is put on by the doggone administration. And that's all Boule. Then you know what's up with this thing. That's all Boule. You don't get in the morning assembly, not unless you down with the clique. You see, now they got this whole million-man march thing going down. And they've already shown it on TV on the doggone show. You see what I'm saying? And they want everybody to go, because this is the man's last woman. If you go read Exodus and understand what's going on, remember the evil Pharaoh comes after the people? That's the million-man march, because it's all in the scriptures. Well, I said, well, you know, I wouldn't be inclined to say it went down that way based on the Charlton Heston thing, but also I know that if you go to any of the scriptures, that's the systems back then, they got an Exodus story. And the Kemetic one goes the same damn way. So I said, okay, I know what's going down now. Okay, that leads us to the O.J. Simpson trial. Now, I knew in January something is up. It came to me, I said, wait a minute. Judgment, trial, book of Revelation, book of the dead. I said, oh, wait a minute. But a judgment would have to be a trial on a miraculous proportion. See what I'm saying? And it might not go down as way it is indicated in the Bible or whatever, because those are a series of metaphysical events that you are looking for some hocus-pocus thing, but it's going to go down right amongst you. You see what I'm saying? There are several Bible prophecies that's been fulfilled, and it's been fulfilled in the context of the fucking earth. Right? And I said, wait a minute, judgment. I said, oh, this is the trial in Amenta. Amenta is the Egyptian West Bank, in the west. Not the city of Egypt, in the west. Amenta is in the west. I said, oh, the trial in Amenta. The great trial in judgment. And the Spirit said, you've just broken the seventh seal. Okay. I asked them, I said, well, let's see. Is there the scriptures? They say plenty. In the book of the dead. And I go and look, and I find this one on page 180 of Beginner's Guide to Revelation by Robin Robertson, page 180. And it's the final judgment of Horus and Set. Now the original Set Typhon is the oldest god, one of the oldest ones, but the Later set typhon in your Osirian drama is your Typhonians created the mutant. So when they had this big one on between the Typhonians and the Osirians, they said, well, hell, since you created the mutant and you worship Set, we're going to call Set typhon your creation. So the Set typhon in the Osirian drama is the white man. Is the white man. Now, in here, it's a thing going on where Set typhon in a trial is throwing all kinds of dirt out to prove that Heru or Horus, which is you, the Christ is in all of you, you are the Christ. You understand what I'm saying? Read the Holy Kabbalah, we'll read it in a few minutes to tell you the real deal on the Christ, because this is the metaphysical Bible and where your other Bible comes from. It comes out of this one. In the Bible you got, Christ is one person that you follow. In the original Bible, Christ is in all of you, and you follow Christ, meaning your body transformed into Christ. So now, Horus in here is you. There's a trial going on, so Set typhon being the adversary of you has got to be the white man. This trial, they say, Heru, they say, in this trial it says, look at this. The appropriate at this time to return to the story of Isis, Osiris, and Heru, or Horus, which in itself is a trial or final judgment. On a final judgment. Now look at this. And remember that Isis, in order to impregnate her Osiris, in order to impregnate Isis, before he retained the Eleusinian fields. Remember I was talking about the Eleusinian fields? That's that other dimension. I talked about that earlier in the lecture. And now look at this part. I want to get to the trial. At the trial, Set tried all his cunning, arguing that Horus could not be the true heir of Osiris, since Osiris was already dead before Horus was conceived. Now, it's a metaphysical thing, and it's dealing with future events. The white boy in the trial tried all the cunning shit to set up the black man as a mass murderer. He did it in 91 with Wayne Williams, where they also took the doggone interferon and also set up the basis for what you call the Ebola today. Ebola was part of the study on this Ebola that you got today is based on the interferon things and the Atlanta child murders. You see what I'm saying? That's what the deal is. Now, check this out. They set up this trial. This trial is all a fucking stage show. First of all, they come out with a movie, The Fugitive, summer of 1993. Let's go down this fucking timeline. Going down this timeline. They put out this movie based on the 1960s TV show. 93, of a man falsely accused of killing his wife. It's Fugitive. Oh, you just reaching for shit, nigga. Okay. Well, let's see if we're reaching for shit. Let's go on. Then they put out a movie 2 or 3 months before Nicole is murdered. A movie called The Chase. A movie called The Chase with, what's the boy who played it? Charlie Sheen. This is a movie showing the event that's about to occur within the months to come. Now in the movie, he's already convicted of a crime. He gets in a car and he takes this girl hostage, a blonde girl. They're in this chase. The police find out about it, and the doggone media find out about it, and they got this whole chase scene going. And they're showing this big chase scene in the movie. Now who would know that this would go accurately 2 or 3 months later? Because the movie was released in the fall, in the spring of 1994, The Chase. Let's go on. Let's see. In the movie, the girl asked him, you are a murderer, like all people suspect, because the doggone TV set is viewing him as a murderer. He says, I'm not a murderer. I was wrongly convicted because I was an innocent man. But I had a cut on my hand, and they used the DNA from the cut to frame me. Now, goddamn it, if that ain't the same shit, you don't have that kind of coincidence. But they had a faulty lab. And the evidence was faulty, but they framed me anyway. They framed me anyway. Let's go on. The movie The Chase with Charlie Sheen. Who is K.O. Kalin's best friend? Charlie Sheen. Didn't he go to the wedding? Now hell, if that ain't a coincidence, something going on. Well, let's go a little further then. Let's go a little further. First of all, they killed O.J. Simpson and cloned him before the whole shit went down. Although he didn't do the killings. Let's go on. They cloned him, and they cloned Nicole too. See, Ron Goldman just was at the wrong place at the fucking wrong time. He got taken out. They put her on a doggone island somewhere. This is what we get now. But because I'm trying to say, I said, well, wait a minute. There's some holes in this at first. I said, well, at first I said, if they got a movie of a man being wrongly convicted and cut his hand, and they frame him off of the DNA off of the cut on his hand, and they have a big chase scene, which we know is the movie. Go see the movie The Chase, Charlie Sheen. How could O.J., if a movie came out a couple of months, how can he go and cut his hand? You understand what I'm saying? Not unless he was a clone. And they programmed the clone to cut his hand. Or these clones, they can black that clone out, cut his hand, black him back in, program it into his memory. See the show Nowhere Man. Come on every Monday night. Give me all the shit on the damn New World Order. It ain't on the fucking X-Files. That's one part. But they wishy-washy. See the Nowhere Man. Channel 69, the Universal Paramount Network. You remember one show where they had the girl sitting in front of the camera and he was asleep, and she programmed herself in his dreams, and he fell in love with her in his dreams. When he woke up, she was already in a part of his memory.
That's right. What time?
Come on, 9 o'clock.
Monday night.
Yeah, right. 9 o'clock.
Yeah, stop.
Now, check this out. Check this out. Okay, so they programmed him and they set up the whole thing. Check this baby out. The whole courtroom, straight up clones. All of them, straight up clones. The jury, no, wait a minute. The jury, his lawyers, the prosecution, and Judge Ito. Now check this out. Remember Johnny Cochran and them came on late. That was Michael Jackson's lawyer. He came on late. We got some papers from doggone Detroit where, what's his name, both, what's the other guy, Shapiro and the other guy? No, the other one. Shapiro, no, not Barry Sheck. Barry Sheck and Johnny Cochran. F.B. Bailey, they was on the side of the prosecution. They was working that shit. The reason why I know, because Shapiro, how the hell you going to be winning favors from the prosecution and winning favors to get a just trial, and you going to go and make fun of damn Japanese, and you know the fucking judges are Japanese? Let's go a little further. First of all, K.O. Kalin was in on the shit from the get-go. He came on anyway. When did he come on? First of all, this is the deal. He came on about around 1992. Same time the whole Rodney King incident. It's all phase 2. He got up in there, and he was working with the government. They told him, we want you to be in the house at the right time to make sure nobody else don't come there. Yeah, I'll come in to visit O.J., his family members, and blow the plan. And we set up everything. You're going to let us in. We're going to plant the socks and all this. And we promise to, what little bit of the movie career you got, we promise to give you a little bit of, revitalize your movie career or whatever type shit. Start off with some balls. Because remember, the first thing he went to a presidential ball. Now what the hell is K.O. Kalin doing going to a presidential ball? You see what I'm saying? Okay. Okay, check this out. Now, K.O. Kalin, all of them in there, next thing we know, they got another ball. Who's hanging out together but K.O. Kalin and fucking Shapiro? They got a party, both of them hanging out together. You see what I'm saying? All hooked up. Let's go on. Now, if you notice, but like I said, K.O. Kalin best friends with Charlie Sheen that made the movie called The Chase, which is the O.J. Simpson trial. All right. What the deal is Judge Ito, remember when the damn trial, when the tapes, they could go off and on. You remember when the tapes was going, when they had the tapes and he broke down and started crying because his fucking wife was part of that? No, wait a minute, now hold on now. Let's look at this thing. How in the hell are they going to pick a judge whose wife is the head of the LAPD in whom the damn defense is saying framing damn OJ? That's a conflict of interest. Don't tell us now that the trial is over that you're talking about it's a conflict of interest when the tapes come up and her ass on the tapes. You see what I'm saying? He starts crying and start breaking down. They go in and switch the fucking clone and that motherfucker come back straight up no nonsense. No nonsense. At all. The only reason why the what's the name was not the players and it was all set up. You can understand it was all set up because the media got right on it from day one. It was a big media event. You see what I'm saying? The shit was all set up. Why the hell who you think gonna make? They can't afford to make those kind of big deals with CNN. You understand where I'm coming from? With CNN and all of that, and all around the world, and for that shit to be a real trial. Just like you watch a TV show, that's what you was watching. But the players was all in on that thing. OJ, the reason why the gloves couldn't fit, because they had done cloned his ass, and the fucking other clone had bigger, the damn hands was too fucking big. Those was his gloves, because damn Kato Kalin gave them to him. You see what I'm saying? Kato Kalin gave them to him, you see. All of that. Now the key is, Johnny Cochran was a thorn in the side. They say, okay, cool, don't make no difference, because even though Johnny Cochran can put on his best program, the fucking jury, straight up robots. I tell you, this shit is real. Get the Matrix too. They're dealing with all, that's what they're dealing with. What's called it, they might be black, and they putting on this stage show, straight up robot. Well, somebody was saying, what's the motive? The motive is they're trying to establish martial law. They're trying to get phase 2 of the march that the doggone government started in of the riot, that the government started with Rodney King incident. You see what I'm saying? Now the movie comes out to even add insult to injury called Just Cause. A movie about a knife and somebody cutting up some white girls. They say, well hell, we can't say that. They say because this movie was written before the OJ incident, but when was it written? Well, the guy started writing on it in 1992. The fucking government had done staged the shit. He was writing on it right as phase 2. They was getting ready. They orchestrated this whole thing because all what you see on that TV right now is all choreographed. To the fucking T, you see. So now, the doggone jury, straight up robots, straight up clones. So it don't make no difference. They're going to convict them of. Hoping that in some type of degree it's going to start a right. That's what they're hoping. Or the doggone race relations and all that kind of thing, you see. That's what they're hoping, you see. But now, the key is, most young people don't even know who the hell O.J. Simpson is. The ones that's going to be out there fighting, shit, O.J. Simpson was gone. O.J. Simpson was gone out of the limelight for 16 years now. You see what I'm saying? So now, this whole thing is choreographed around this whole key. Now, who else? Michael Jackson, straight up clone. The whole deal is what you're thinking about the doggone skin, the whole acid pill. If you see the last videos, he's white. They say he's white all the way down to his penis. That's because they got the genetic engineering going. The other one is in a concentration camp in Europe. You see, straight up clone.
Such a touchy subject, but I'm waiting to see when the people are ready. Just a video that was just posted. Again, I do this. Look at the hates versus the likes versus just a few minutes. The world doesn't want to hear of it. And just as Nostradamus said, more of those too, don't care to listen. So I'll put this video out. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on what you want to see and what you don't want to see. It's all built and ready. It's all a matter of timing when people are really ready to face the music of what's happening around the planet. The Pleiadians are trying to help the world.
These clones, whether they are politicians, high-level people, or leaders of large companies, will be used to do cumbersome tasks such as attending rallies, appearances, and public presentations. They are used to carry out murders, suicide missions, things like coups. At this point, it is worth mentioning that it is the clones that are having a worse time, because they suffer all kinds of harassment at the hands of the irate population, while the original has already had the opportunity to flee. Or attacks on the population in the form of false flags, also attributable to the MK Ultra, although not exclusively. They are used in the shootings in the shopping malls, schools, and public places. This with the purpose to create a problem and then sell the solution to people with population engineering in mind. Clones of children and babies are also being created and on a large scale to be used in horrendous satanist rituals to their archon gods. Celebrities, men and women are cloned equally and sold to the elites as slaves and sex slaves. Consider my words as a warning. First, the clones were used only to replace high-level Illuminati leaders, then heads of state and politicians as doubles. Then, it has leaked to celebrities and high-level entrepreneurs, especially linked to large transnationals and the leaders of large banks. As the technology of cloning has been perfected, it has become more accessible to other people and their purposes, always within the Illuminati framework controlled by the cabal. So this information hardly reaches the population in general. The clones are progressively leaking to the entire human society, from the highest rungs down little by little as a silent invasion.
It will be a very hard time for women with children, for they will be shunned, and many of the children in these times will be unnatural. Some being from the stars, some from past worlds, some will even be created by man in an unnatural manner and will be soulless. Hopi end times prophecy, they foresaw the star seeds, star beings, and the cloning of the human race.